Hello lovely people, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty popular content creator known as Alana28. You guys may have seen her content before on TikTok and Instagram. She's an Australian, an emphasis on Australian, that's going to be very important later, but she's an influencer who has a very unique appearance which skyrocketed her popularity, but things seem to have taken a little bit of a turn. I thought this was going to be kind of a silly or maybe disappointing situation, but it has kind of snowballed into something much worse. But without further ado, let's get started with the video. So I can't play the audio on this video, but as you can see, there's tons of artists, real people, creating artwork of this person. And it's beautiful artwork. The controversy comes because a lot of this free artwork that people created for her, she is essentially taking it for granted when she decided to partner with Meta AI. And if you don't know anything about generative AI, what it does is it steals from real artists, it steals from actual artists. People saw her as a muse, and there were many people that painted or drew content of her as an appreciation to say, wow, you're such a, beautiful person. It's almost like a spit in the face for her to turn around and partner with an AI company, which is very unethical. Many artists have been trying to speak up and advocate for why generative AI is so harmful. After all of this came out, it seems like other people did some digging and have found out that Alana, she's not the greatest person. There have been many comments pointing out that Alana has been tied to white or European supremacy, and we're going to get into that next. So in this post, it says that Alana issued an apology for teaming up with Meta AI, and I'm going to read her apology. It says, "I understand, and I'm sorry to have let the art community down with the collaborative post with Meta AI, but I assure you it was a one-off paid partnership contract which has now been ceased of action. Heart." And I guess, yeah, it's good that she did come out and say like, hey guys, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I hear you, I see you, I understand why you're upset. But I don't think she should have accepted the partnership in the first place if she didn't understand the implications of it. That's like if someone came to my house and said, hey, can I frack in your backyard? If I don't know what fracking is or why it's harmful, I should probably sit down and do some research before agreeing to enter a partnership with something that's damaging. But while she did apologize for using AI, which I think it was kind of a small apology, she probably should have said a bit more in a video. She apologized for this, but we haven't heard anything about the allegations of her being tied to white supremacy. This next slide said she's still making excuses for her Halloween costume. So apparently she posted a video of her in blackface, and this was her response when she started to receive backlash. She removed the video and comments this: "I was the crow queen, so I'm literally a crow. Feathers on my head because I'm a crow, and dark fur-like body and face. I'm a crow. Attempting to group me with those who attempt blackface isn't just insulting, it's hateful. I'm a literal crow. I have not tried to appear dark-skinned." Now let's take a look at the actual costume, because I hadn't seen it, and then we can discuss afterwards. Okay, here she is doing her makeup. She does a little transition, and this is where we end up. I've seen some people say, oh, I don't really want to comment on this because I'm not a black content creator, so I'm going to leave it up to the black content creators to decide how they feel about this. In my opinion, I think it's distasteful. Do I think that she intentionally tried to do blackface? Not necessarily. I don't think it's a good look though, because the implications in our society of painting your face black as a costume, historically, it's just not been great. So a lot of people who are white or who aren't black, they kind of learned early on that it's not a good idea to paint your face black.
Whoa, is that Blackface, dude?
No, you don't understand. I'm literally a forest demon from across the bridge. This isn't a costume.
Get the out, man.
See, that's exactly why I don't dress up for Halloween. Right there. That's the reason.
And generally, we could chalk this up to being, a careless mistake or maybe just distasteful and not that great of a decision. If I had just seen this, I probably would have just brushed it off a little bit easier. Oh, she just wasn't thinking of it. Oh, it's just, maybe ignorance or being naive. But then we go a little bit further and it gets a little bit harder to understand and to see, what were her true intentions with this costume. All right, so now we're going to get into this next video with people saying that Alana has been interacting and commenting on posts that highlight European or white supremacy. You guys remember earlier I said she's Australian, and that would be a very important point. Why are you so interested in European nationalism when you're not European? But I digress. Let's listen to what this content creator has to say. And there are several screenshots that they flash on the screen that I'm actually going to read out because it goes kind of fast.
Hey, so if you're still defending this piece of shit by the end of the video, then you're a white supremacist. If you're still trying to say that this isn't blackface by the end of the video, you're a white supremacist. I'm going to do a quick little montage of videos that Alana has liked. Go ahead and pause to read.
Alright, this first screenshot says, why is it perfectly fine to say that Asians have a higher average IQ than Caucasians, but saying that Caucasians have a higher IQ than Africans is considered a hate crime? And it says right there, down at the bottom, you could just barely see it. She liked this post. Alright, so let's break this down as a black person. Maybe you guys might not want to listen to my low IQ take on this, but I'm gonna give it anyways. So essentially the stereotype that different races have different IQs as like a standard is incredibly harmful. I'd also like to point out that saying these things, it's not a fucking hate crime, it's ignorance. But to say that Asians have a higher IQ, I think is a harmful stereotype. It's kind of degrading to be whittled down to one trait, like, oh, you're really good at that. Of course you are, because you're Asian. That also would just discredit all the hard work and effort someone put in to learning and growing as a person. That's just one example of why it's harmful to categorize people under one entire umbrella. And let's take a look at it on the black side. Imagine you are a gifted child and you love reading, you enjoy academics, you are an academic star, but maybe you aren't given enough attention or the same opportunities as someone else just because of your race, because you are considered quote unquote low IQ. So that's the first screenshot that we got into. This next screenshot says, propaganda I'm not falling for, Western guilt, modern architecture, meatless sausages, positive discrimination, chargeable cars, more than two genders, frappuccino, toxic masculinity, and Dubai. Here's a picture that says, this is what they stole from you. I really don't understand this because how is this stolen? I see British flags. Who stole this from you? I really don't think that British people had that much stolen from them. If anything, I've heard that the British steal other people's cultures. Quite literally, a lot of their museums have artifacts from other cultures that were decimated throughout centuries of history. And I'm pretty sure the Irish and the Scottish aren't too fond of, you know, being colonized by the British, but listen, I'm not that great with European history, but I know some basics. This says, let's normalize spreading our Western/European culture. And it looks like someone is going around, I'm not sure what country this is, I'm just going to assume somewhere that's Eastern. And here's the thing, I think there is an appropriate way to share culture, and there is a way that could be seen as distasteful, like being a colonizer. You know, if I just walk into someone else's space and I start to shove my culture or my religion or my morals or any of that type of stuff down their throat, it's inappropriate. Yes, we can normalize sharing cultural dishes or telling stories or, you know, talking about where we came from and why we're proud of our heritage. But again, this girl, she's not European, she's Australian. That's why I find this really weird. Why is she so obsessed with European culture? All right, so this one says, Japan First Party took out a rally to deport Muslims from Japan. Even Japanese are fed up. And that's where we get into trouble, when we have people dedicating hatred and having discourse towards a group of people based on their religion, ethnicity, race, etc. We went through we went through all this shit in America during like the civil rights movement. Like, hey guys, can we stop lumping everybody together and judging them for their skin color? And now I'm starting to see why people were saying that that costume wasn't just a hee hee ha ha, I'm a crow. I can understand why people are taking it sideways. This one says, French police/migrant taxi boat on French beach to prevent UK crossing. Yeah, she seems really obsessed with the United Kingdom. This post says, imagine protesting in a country you broke into illegally with flags from a country you refuse to live in. Again, she liked this post. This one says, POV, you visited Sydney in 2050.
And here's her in DMs downplaying the Gaza genocide and saying that it's just sympathy propaganda.
Alright, here are some screenshots from a conversation she had that says, oh, there's other angles filmed also. This is staged to make you feel sorry. Overall, I will simply conclude I do not support war, and I do not like war propaganda. I will side to the truth and statistical evidence in these matters always.
And maybe you missed the last video where she literally called herself a European nationalist. You know, a white nationalist. So I'm gonna put that on the screen for you.
It says, no denial about the topic. That quarrel in a faraway country between people of whom we know nothing, I do not want to promote nor deny. Children are dying on both sides of war. What I will stand behind and not tolerate is the mass immigration leveraging from war to invade European countries and then be illegally housed and fed from taxpayers' dollars to then claim benefits and stay in the country. I'll just say assaults. The assault reports have skyrocketed. The amount of bombings is ridiculous. The state of Europe in decline. I suppose I would side with nationalism. Do you have the reels you speak of to send? Everyone is entitled to their own beliefs, of course, and I can see your passion within this topic. It's an amazing quality to have. I can't read past the arrow. She says, I do not deny my beliefs and where I stand, but I hope some insight to the correct belief of mine can now be seen and is now better communicated. Again, that's classing an entire group of people into one lump as criminals. I rarely ever see people that hold these opinions take the stance of what's going on in your country that's so bad that you had to flee. But again, I don't want to get too far into that discussion. Maybe that's a bit of a cop-out because I don't feel like I'm informed enough. All right, here is another screenshot.
Here's her liking comments talking about white girls will always be better looking.
So someone commented and said, white girls will always be better looking, and she liked that comment. And listen, I'm not one to shit on someone's appearance, but heavy on the butt, maybe don't compare yourself to other people and put other people down, especially women. Like that's one thing I hate to see is women hating on other women. There is just no need to put other people down or to call other races objectively unattractive when beauty in itself is a subjective thing. Attractiveness is subjective. What one person likes might not be someone else's cup of tea, and that's okay. I'm not gonna comment on her appearance, but this girl over here, she's beautiful. Like, there's no reason to try and boost yourself up above or below or whatever around another woman. This girl is beautiful. Leave her the fuck alone.
Will always be better looking. You know, for someone who got famous off of looking like a royal inbred who's having an allergic reaction, she really does have a lot of it.
I'm just gonna stop it there because that last section was kind of going for the throat. Like I said, I don't feel the need to comment on someone's physical appearance, to demean them, to talk about why they might be controversial. And again, a lot of her beliefs and the posts she has liked or the comments she has engaged with, personally, they don't align with my morals and my beliefs. I feel like a lot of people that were in her community that supported her are shocked by this. Understandably so. You know, it's never fun to find out that your favorite content creator or someone who you enjoyed watching isn't that great of a person. I find it weird that she's liking European supremacy posts even though she's not European. I don't know, I just find that kind of confusing. I don't like the fact that she compares herself to other races, especially of women. It's kind of giving crabs in a pot, you know, when you have to drag other people down so you feel like you can make it to the top. Or maybe it's like an ego boost, like I'm this porcelain skinned white woman and all these people are giving me attention, and maybe that kind of went to her head a little bit. But I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments, what do you think? And also, let's keep the comments respectful. You don't have to make fun of anybody's face. Let's just talk about the actions, behaviors, the things she said, and tell me what you think. Do you think that she might be able to redeem herself from this? Or do you think it's pretty much over? Oh, before I do dip out of this video, I just want you guys to know that I do have merch available on my store. This artwork, it's hand-drawn. It's not AI because I'm a certified AI hater. So feel free to check that stuff out if you're interested. But I'm gonna call it there. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Take care of yourselves, and as always, stay lovely.